All right, this time we are going to be talking about cyberbullying. And again, I'm Kelly Smith, Assistant Principal here at Union Grove High School. Cyberbullying is not always blatant. It's not always just going to a particular site and indicating, saying bad things about someone else. This happens a lot with our young ladies. It's very prevalent among our younger population. A lot of times our ninth grade girls are still struggling with where they fit into the high school, and we see this a lot with them. Any form of behavior that seeks to put another student down, threaten another student, impact them in a negative way, emotionally, physically, or any other way, would be considered cyberbullying. If occurrences happen over and over and over again, then it is clear that a child is being targeted. We've said it, we say it to the kids when they come in, the he said, she said stuff. Snapchat is the devil, because they use that to threaten, they use that to degrade, and that causes, and we're going to talk about fighting in a few moments, but it often leads to that altercation that happens in the building. Many times, all of this occurs at home. It occurs the night before, over the weekend, whatever, and they bring this animosity to school. And then as soon as they get face to face in the school, they're circling up and they're trying to have some kind of an altercation because of it. So, you know, we don't do anything in terms of things that happen outside of school. If there's not, if it's illegal in nature or whatever, that's not our jurisdiction. But when activity that happens outside of school impacts the school day and disrupts the school environment, then that's where we act. And we have to, we always try to mediate with those parties, but sometimes we have to go as far as a no contact agreement, where both parties have to agree that they can't say anything digitally on social media, they can't text one another, they can't email, they can't talk face to face, they can't talk about one another to another party. And so this is so common among our female population, but it also can happen among our male population as well. But we're very sensitive to it because we want students to walk into this building every day feeling good about coming to Union Grove High School and knowing that they're in a safe and orderly environment.
And to jump in just quickly, with the no contact, again, that's one of our first lines of defense against trying to make sure that nothing bigger or more severe happens within the building. Because we do believe in being very proactive. I know that we as an administrative team often tell our students, hey, you can come see us regardless of if you're in trouble or not. If you feel like something's brewing, please come. We'd rather be proactive than reactive. We always would be. Just because we feel as an administrative team that if we could sit you down and talk about it, that goes a long way, because unfortunately the internet and text and everything else does not allow for the human emotion. So a lot of things can be misconstrued or misread so that it then turns into something bigger for that very reason.
It also enables someone who might be too cowardly to say something face to face, to say something at a distance, and then worry about the consequence later. So that takes me to the importance of digital citizenship and just knowing your impact and knowing the actions that you take could be detrimental to someone else. And one of the most common, we talked about cell phone use earlier and that, but one of the most common things cell phones can be used for is girls taking nudes and then sending them to a boy. Well, then that boy sends them out to multiple boys, and that is one, illegal activity, but two, it can jump into this bullying type thing when that girl continues to be talked about because of her actions.
Let me say this, and by the way, I'm Chip Fletcher. I've been introducing myself with every snip, and I should. Parents, this is what you can do to help us. First of all, awareness. Now, we mentioned that Snapchat is the devil. A lot of adults, and I'm kind of joking here, well, I'm not joking. A lot of adults have the Snapchat, and they take their pictures with the filters and the little ears and that sort of thing, but they don't understand that the teenagers are using it for other purposes because it disappears. So they can put something out there and it disappears. Except now kids who are being picked on are actually pretty smart and they can screenshot these things before they disappear. So Snapchat's just one particular app. There are a lot of them out there. I don't know the names of them. I know Kik used to be one, but there are many different apps in which they are allowed to, they can create their own names, they're hard to trace, that sort of thing, with the purpose of just being mean.
Yeah.
That's it. So I ask, first of all, that check your kids' phones and find out what apps they have and what these apps are being used for. That's the first thing. The second thing, if your child is a victim of cyberbullying, what we are asking you to do is to make sure you get screenshots. If you screenshot these things, and we got some parents that are very good at this as well as the students, and you screenshot these things and bring them to us, we have something we can work with. Because once it's in our building, it's a problem. I don't care if it happened on the weekend at 11 o'clock at night. It's now a problem in our building, and we can address it as we need to address it. But know this too, and this is some of our experiences, that sometimes, hey, my child's being bullied, but we find out we've got this screenshot, but there were some things that were left out, in which your child was a part of too. A lot of times there's some equal going back and forth on these things. But again, awareness, knowing what's on your child's device will help prevent a lot of this.
And to jump in too, because we've also had some instances where parents are checking the student's social media, but then the student has created an alternate fake Insta or an exposed page where that's happened, and the parents had no clue that their child had an alter ego, and that doesn't bode well either. So just be very diligent when checking and speaking with your children and with your students, because again, this place is an institution in which every student that comes through our door is granted the right to have an obstructed-free education without any issues. So we want to make sure that we promote that for every student that graces our halls, that they are safe, that they feel empowered to be here so that they can be the best that they can be and learn academically.
And I would say that our students are really very savvy and confident in their options to come in and talk to us. We get lots of information from the students. We may not know all the ins and outs of what the teenagers are doing, but we're educated very well by our kids that come in and share things with us. So we're very fortunate to have those open conversations with your child as well.
And again, I know I don't just speak for myself, but with our students, I make sure to tell them, hey, my door is always open. If you got an issue, we'd much rather hear about it up front so that we can have the chance to be proactive versus reactive when something has happened. So again, just come in and just talk to us, y'all.
Okay, so that's a great segue for us to go into our next snippet, which is fighting. So we'll be talking about that next.